You're listening to part 2 of a conversation between Michael Brumm, longtime fan of Pavement, and Tamara Federici, producer of Every Band Ever, already in progress.
There's also like rumors that like Canberg had like songs he wanted to record, but Malcolmus didn't like them, and so he didn't want to put them on the album, and that also led to the breakup. Like, do you remember what those songs were like? Like, why did Malcolmus not want to record Canberg songs? Were they just bad lyrics? Was there, was it controversial topics?
No, it was just a real left turn. It was an oompa band, and that doesn't jive with what they were doing at all.
Yeah.
And I think he was worried about being laughed at or hired to do oompa music in a smaller venue. And they just didn't see eye to eye on that because there's not a huge amount of bands that go from indie rock to oompa.
Yeah.
Which I don't even know if that's rock. I don't even know where you categorize that.
What kind of music
International?
is oompa? Yeah, I guess polka? Is oompa polka? What is oompa? Oompa? What exactly is oompa music?
I don't think it's polka. But, I would say internationally, I need to grow a little bit more with that. So I just know it as oompa music. The people carry the tuba with them, and then you kind of, you can help them carry it. You can make sure that they've got their instrument clean.
Proper support where they hold it. Yeah.
Proper support. And then you can, you just kind of stand there and you can mark time with them.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty on beat. Yeah. They're a pretty on beat group.
That's pretty fantastic. So it's interesting you mentioned he was an art guard. I actually didn't know that, but like the way they infuse art, and he has like a lot of lyrics to like architecture in his songs and stuff like that. And so it's interesting that art's such a focus, And I imagine art inspires so many, like, paintings and stuff like that inspire so many bands. Like,
yeah, well, the Talking Heads had Robert Rauschenberg, and I guess Metallica, they create their own art. What else? There's a huge amount. Tom Waits.
Yeah.
GG. Who did G.G. Allen have?
I think he just had his own poop art, but I think it's just his own poop art.
Again, underrated. I do know that they tried to put that in a coffee shop once, and that it was not. That wasn't a good placement for it.
Yeah. I can see that.
It was his first showing, and I think the coffee shop didn't realize it was 3D art instead of 2D art. And so, coffee shop, you're expecting a certain smell, and maybe that's on the, the consumer needs to evolve.
Yeah, but that's true. This is probably the wrong venue for his art, yeah.
It's definitely an outside art thing.
I know. I believe he died, right? Did he die of... I don't know how he died. Was it natural causes? Did something happen?
He did.
I feel like he would die in a bar fight or something. Did he?
No,
natural causes. Yeah.
He fell in a sewer.
Really? That's horrible.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I guess it's fitting though. I mean, the sewer is for poop, so in a way, he went cycle of life.
That's true. He flushed himself away. Yeah, it's kind of
beautiful.
Died
like he lived.
Poetic. Yeah, it's poetic.
Yeah, it's like dying on stage.
It is. Only you're in a sewer.
Except in the sewer.
It's very similar to those two things. But yeah, and so this tour is going to wrap up. Like, what's next for Pavement? Have you talked to the boys or anything? Like, do they plan on releasing another album? Are they going to go on tour again? Or any big projects coming up? Or
yeah, they're going to do that Sprite thing, and then the Little Nas X thing is going to be a weird, country meets indie, which really hadn't happened before. So maybe we're ready for something like that. I don't know if I'm ready for something like that. I can't, but I'll do it.
And then I have so many other famous lyrics I want to ask you about. Hold on, let me think of some other lyrics.
Do you have favorite lyrics that you remember?
I do. It's like, let's remember, like, debutantes spin like hurricanes in a trance. I think I may be butchering that lyric, but I always like that lyric or whatever. And I always like, I just like the odd lyrics, and the things that don't seem to make sense, that are pigeonholed together, and somehow they create something interesting. Yeah.
How did you feel about Beck's Loser?
Oh, I like Beck's Loser. I like that it had, is that Odelay, the album Odelay? Had that sheepdog jumping over that thing on the cover.
I think it was before Odelay.
Oh, was it before Odelay? I like Loser.
Really early.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I liked it. It was, that was a bunch of odd things too, right?
Yeah, that was the oddest of odd things. I feel like that is the king of just random just random words, which is
And
where
you produced him too?
I did. He was super fun. He's super
Yeah.
funny. Likes to stop for tacos. You know.
And you said he did a lot of random stuff. Did he prepare that, or did he just kind of look around the room and say things? How did he write his songs? Was it?
I think both. Sometimes it was like that movie where it was Kevin Spacey, where he's just looking at all the stuff and then saying what happened. He's looking at the wall, being like,
Oh, Kaiser Soze? Yeah.
yeah, right. It was a little bit like that at first, where he'd be like, shop vac, broom,
Interesting. Yeah.
top hat, taco.
Shop, brack, boom, top, yeah, taco, yeah.
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 Right. And then he puts it to a beat, and then he, refracts that through some colored light that you don't even know that you're listening to. And then all of a sudden it's a hit. You put that in a coffin, you got yourself a hit song.
Genius. He's a genius. And again, it goes back to the producer. So again, hats off to you, Tamara.
I just like to let them play a little bit, and they're just energetic dudes wearing ironic t-shirts.
Yeah.
And baggy pants.
Yeah. That's great. I mean, those are the staples of any good band. I know.
Yeah, right. And, I guess the other thing is that they had a sort of a missive at the beginning when I first started working with them, which was they said they wanted to create music that they could ignore ladies to. And I feel like they succeeded with that, because that was not, it really, their early lyrics are sort of like, they don't get away from me, almost get away from me. Sort of come here, get away from me, I would say.
And they just wanted to repel the ladies. They didn't want them at their concerts and stuff.
I think they did, but they didn't actually want to, then they kind of wanted them to go away. They wanted to come here and then go away. But I feel like that was very much the 90s. It was just like come close, go away. Yeah. It was a detached time.
It was. I think you have your finger on the 90s. That's a pretty good encapsulation of the 90s. Come here and go away. Yeah.
Right. And very different than like Hope and Change and that type of an era with Obama. This was like, come here, I don't care, go away, hey, wait.
Fascinating times. Interesting. Is there, and I also like the art on the albums. I know, I think Bright in the Corners is the only album that had lyrics with it. I could be wrong about that, but I think that was the only album cover that had all the lyrics. And why do you think they didn't put their lyrics on the other albums? Was there a reason, you think, or?
Yeah, the one you're talking about, they actually could not remember their lyrics, so they needed to have the merch on hand so that at the shows they could kind of flip it over and look like they were selling the album, but really they were like, oh yeah, right. Okay.
Oh, memorizing their lyrics. Oh, that's smart. That's
right. So the rest of the time, of the time they could, they knew them. They kind of practiced mnemonic devices and did flashcards in the van. Yeah. And that proved to work for them.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, they seemed like at the concert, they seemed like they knew all their lyrics. Like, I was looking for any mess ups, but they seemed like they knew them all. I know.
I know. You love to look for lyric mess ups when you go to shows, so that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
You're a stickler. As far as an audience member goes, you're a real stickler.
Sing it again. You messed up. Go back.
Not the right words.
Not the right words. Know your own song, dummy.
Yeah,
They were pros. They were pros.
I think that's what separates the pros from the amateurs. And a lot of people are amateurs.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, I also want to see if you have a polar opposite band to Pavement. Who would it be?
A polar opposite band to Pavement. So they're kind of like sloppy and discordant sound and stuff like that. So I guess you'd be the most like clean cut sound with really simple lyrics. So I know Hanson, maybe. Hanson.
Oh, good. That's good.
Bop is very simple. I don't know, who else would you say? Like anybody, any other band that's really clean cut and like kind of has their act together. Again, like the Temptations. We go back to the Temptations. Maybe the Temptations are the exact opposite of Pavement.
They have a lot more dance moves for sure.
That's true. Pavement, very little dancing. They did
very little dancing.
They threw ping pong balls out to the crowd. That was about it for like the stage theatrics. Not a lot of like pyrotechnics stuff like that. But
I taught them a thing called the garden hose, and I feel like they use that. It's just sort of flailing arms. You can kind of wander. You can kind of flop over.
Yeah.
with your your guitar.
So like one of those like used
Yes.
car things or whatever.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Right. So
Yeah.
when in doubt, if they got locked up, they could always do
Yeah.
they could always do the floppy arms up top, and then they
Yeah.
could do, the
Yeah.
floppy legs down there.
Yeah.
They're free to do that.
Yeah. It seems to work for them. Like, but yeah, Bright in the Card is a great album. What else do I like from that album? Like, Shady Lane is fantastic.
Shady Lane is great.
Shady Lane, Stereo is great. Like, and everybody talks about that, like that lyric, like, how did his voice get so high? Whatever speaks like an ordinary guy. I know him, and he does. And you're my fact checking cuz. Like, so I wonder if they actually do know Geddy Lee, or if that was just hearsay.
I think it was hearsay, and then they actually called him up, and he said, "Yes, this is true." And he's like, "Do you guys want to go to Chuck E. Cheese? Because I'm about to go to Chuck E. Cheese." And then all of a sudden, they had a hangout at Chuck E. Cheese, and amazingly, they all enjoyed the Jamboree Band.
The band's fantastic. You have all the great members there. Very Pavement-esque in a way.
Yes.
Mouse, the Bird. I don't know who else is in that band. Chuck E.
The
Cheese,
elephant,
of course.
right?
Is there an elephant?
I remember an elephant at
I think there's a bear. Is there a bear?
I would believe you.
I think there's like a Billy Bob Bear. I don't know.
The bear may have had some side projects later with a different.
That's true. With
a different band.
Different group.
Yeah. Animals, by the way, I can take or leave as a producer. Sometimes I take them, sometimes I leave them. Like I've talked before about Emmett Otter's Jugtown Band. Yes. That I won't work with the Foggy Bottom Nightmare Band anymore because they're pretty unprofessional and they have a snake in our band. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I won't do a band with a snake.
What about that Morris the Cat? He did that meow mix jingle. It's pretty. It's
a jingle. I probably didn't do it. If he did it, if Morris had gotten in touch about an album, I would be all for it.
Interesting.
I think he got rich off of samples though.
Oh yeah, a lot of people did sample that. A lot of like early rappers sampled that. Like,
yeah, the meow beat is hard to miss.
I also let's see from I'll Bright the Cry. Also like Embassy Row is a great song. Like Wowie Zowie has fantastic songs. Like Crooked Rain. Like Cut Your Hair was a big hit for them.
Yeah, I like Cut Your Hair a lot. I mean, I feel like that is that's a quintessential sad song.
I wonder, and so that wasn't about them cleaning up their appearance. That didn't come from you, right? Like, did you want them to have a cleaner look or anything? Is that?
No, I thought they had a pretty good look, which was they look like boys they look like kind of snobby boys with a large vocabulary that were choosing to withhold it during the first part of their career and then were flourishing with using it by the end. I also think
just
yeah, and I think they also found the fans that were like more words, big words.
So they started out as boys, just doing their boy thing, right? And then they eventually, did you think they evolved into men with bigger words, or do you think they still always remain boys?
No, I think they evolved into men. Mm-hmm. I think they started out as like, dudes in California who bake their own bread and, throw rocks at mailboxes and, go see Slacker.
Yeah.
And make films.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And work at the DJ. Yeah. Work at the DJ booth at college. Put in the 8 tracks for the promos.
Yeah. Keep a clean house.
Right. I think by the end, they were like guys who owned homes and were more sophisticated.
Yeah.
I think the polar opposite to them was probably the Top Gun soundtrack. Or at least Kenny Loggins.
Yeah. Kenny Loggins had a lot of hits.
He did.
Footloose, Danger Zone, the Caddyshack song, I'm All Right. I forget what that song's actually called, but
it could be called that.
Yeah. The Dancing Gopher. Classic.
Yeah. He's a different beast. Kenny Loggins is definitely a different beast. Yeah. Do you know who, actually, who the polar opposite is? Is Margaritaville.
Jimmy Buffett?
Yes.
Margarita, yeah.
Yeah, I actually introduced Stephen Malkmus to Margaritaville because he'd never run across it. And I played it in a band rehearsal and they all threw up at one point, but consecutively. So they like a Gen X brain can't. I think it's scientifically proven that a Gen X brain cannot absorb what Margaritaville is
Just the
because
laid back rhythms and vibes.
it just makes no sense to them.
Yeah.
Like they don't. There's never been a time where they've been that happy and lucky, happy go lucky. You know?
Yeah, they've never wasted away in Margaritaville. Yeah.
No, like the type of frivolity and boomer happiness. It's just, how do you even process that?
I know it is carefree frivolity, just hanging out, windsurfing, laying on the beach.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't even. How do you deal? How do you take that in? It's like a weird piece of cheese to them.
Yeah. They didn't like Cheeseburgers in Paradise either. Did you play that song for them?
I didn't. I didn't want to go to the hospital. I didn't want to take them to the hospital.
Yeah.
I didn't venture forth. But I guess conversely, Jimmy Buffett doesn't understand like Purple Haze or anything like that. He doesn't understand why you would even make those notes in that order.
Yeah. I mean, I always kind of respected Jimmy Buffett. I like his just like, Cheeseburgers in Paradise. I like mine with lettuce and tomato, maybe ketchup and tomato, but he's just listing ingredients of what he likes in his hamburger. And because I'm going to turn that into a song, which I always thought was pretty impressive,
I guess the closest thing that we have to that in modern discography would be the Humpty Dance. I think he had sex in a Burger King bathroom, and that that's how it gets used these days. Not actually. I don't think you can actually list the. I think that's foul play if you just list the ingredients of a burger like that. I don't know. I mean, maybe Burger Time is a video game and you can lay them on top of each other and win points, but I don't think musically, I don't think we'll put up with that.
That's true. I also, and while, I hear what you're saying. Like, it also seemed an odd choice just because like he's enjoying a hot hamburger while he's in paradise in a hot climate. It doesn't seem like when you're in a hot climate on the beach, you don't really want a hamburger. It seems like you want something more refreshing. But it
definitely sounds like a retired move, right?
Yeah.
You're not going to get up. You don't mind a hot hamburger. You probably like the sun. You're not going to go anywhere. You don't need to get your meal right away. Why not eat a hot hamburger?
That's true. Yeah. So you're hot internally and externally. That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they love a good hot hamburger.
They love warm climates. Yeah, and warm food. That's what people are always saying about them. But I know also in that song Range Life too, they also mentioned the Stone Pilot. Like they'll just say like Stone Temple Pilots are elegant bachelors. They're foxy to me or are they foxy to you? Like the Stone Temple Pilots, yeah. So I don't know if they had a beef with the Stone Temple Pilots also, but
I don't know actually. I don't know if they knew the Stone Temple Pilots. Not while I was with them. No, they would play darts with the Stone Roses. But that's sort of about it. And they would go bowling, like that bowling alley in Chicago where you can, you lift up they just have live people who are
pin setters.
Yes, pin setters. The pin setters were actually also the roadies for them later on. They just got along, so they took them for a ride on the road.
Really, that's fantastic. That's awesome. I had no idea they were so into bowling. That's great.
Yeah, it's a huge secret. I don't know why they're embarrassed about it, but
the Stone Roses, yeah.
Yeah, it's secret bowling. You can't tell anybody you're going, which is weird because it's just bowling. It's not like cocaine parties or something.
Yeah, you think that? Yeah, wish they would have worked it into their songs. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Any other? I love. What else can I tell you about Pavement? They have keyboards. Interesting.
I can tell you what the collab of the Sprite ad campaign is.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
It's called Taste the Sadness. And I feel like, I think that's right for them,
Yeah. Taste the Sadness. It sounds like a little bit of the Skittles, Taste the Rainbow. But they said, no, a Sprite. We're just going to taste the sadness, which is interesting.
Yeah, it's a different time. I feel like that at some time we felt like there was a rainbow, but I think right at whatever weird part we are of the pandemic now, it's really like, taste the sadness, and everybody will be like, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. And then
This
little
is
Nas X
delicious.
will jump in and he'll.
Yeah, then it'll go crazy. You know, like it'll get really sweaty, sexy, and banjo-y.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then back to the tasting the sadness. That's great. Like I can't wait. I can't wait. This is the biggest collaboration: the Sprite and Pavement and Little Nas X. I'm really looking forward to it. Sounds like it's a great time.
I think Sprite has been, courting them both for a long time separately, and then they realized they could get them together. And I think it just took one picnic to get Lil Nas X and Pavement together, and
really,
then
a picnic.
Yeah, surprising.
That's interesting because it's a fun way to bring people together. A picnic is kind of nice, actually. Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like the music industry is doing this now. You're either a TikTok star or you're, giving a spot at a park where you're going to have a picnic. And they kind of broker the deals now through these picnics, usually at sort of the second course. So you're already you're already sitting down, you've already played Frisbee.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. You always take the potato salad. Don't never not take the potato salad at a picnic meeting.
That's true. I know.
For updates, go to Every Band Ever on Instagram. Michael Brumm is currently a senior producer, writer for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. He has also been a consulting producer on At Home with Amy Sedaris and a writer for The Colbert Report. He is currently working on his 4-book kid graphic novel series The Cryptid Club. Book number 1 Bigfoot Takes the Field is out now. Tamara Federici is still standing, yeah. The editor is Will Velasquez. The audio engineer is Clark Jackson. Executive producers are Carl Adams and Tamara Federici. Thanks for listening. See you next week.